it's me again, back with another video. And before you say anything, because I already know what you're thinking, Sui, where's Iris? Or Sui, where's the goth chick? And look, hear me out. I've got other OCs that I, like to play with in games, okay? So I figured I would use a different one for this video, okay? This is Milla, by the way, if you're wondering what the name is. Anyway, with that out of the way, so as you know, today's going to be another weapon review video. So kick back, relax, and get some popcorn and enjoy. Let's go ahead and get right into it. So for any long-time Code Vein players, I'm sure you already see this weapon, and you remember the days of the ancient king of meta, the good old Argent Wolf King sword. Back in the day when, I think barely a month into this game's release, there were already dozens of one-shot guides, and just the one-shot bosses and whatnot. And this weapon, most of the time, was used. It was either this or something with, like, Severing Abyss, or like a one-handed sword or halberd, But most of the time, you saw this greatsword. And really, you can't blame them. It has an incredibly high base damage, incredibly good scaling, and its heavy attack is also fantastic, which, did you know, a long while ago, the heavy attack, which this, was actually nerfed a while ago. They just reduced the damage for it a little bit. Not that it mattered though, because it's still really good, and the sword itself still has a really good amount of damage. So really, you can't really go wrong with this weapon at all. The only downside though, only one major downside of this weapon, right? You have to beat the game to get it. So there's no like, oh, how can I get this weapon early? It's not like the what was it? The Zweihander that you can get literally in like the second area of the game. No, this you have to beat the game for. Yeah. A bit of a wait. But of course it's worth it. The sword itself is fantastic and shiny and gold, so what's not to love about it? This is the gear used. Not the highest amount of light to make use of Bridge to Glory that much, so obviously you can achieve a higher damage rating with this if you want. Just to note that for you. So let's go ahead and give the punching bag a couple whacks. It just repeats that combo, by the way. Just 2 hits. That's the damage in 2 normal hits, and then there's the light heavy. Charge heavy. Now that's just for normal damage, so now we're going to apply Adrenaline and Bridge to Glory. 2 hits. Light heavy. And charge heavy. Pretty nice. But of course, you can always pair up the charge heavy with Flashing Fang here, which, let's go to our attack rating here. 2,957, Flashing Fang, 5,241 because Flashing Fang is balanced. So let's just go ahead and do a charge heavy again. Oh yeah. You absolutely gotta love Flashing Fang, which is like any heavy weapon. It's fantastic. So Sui, what about its defensive properties? Well, go over to look at it. It can block all slash damage, however Crush and Pierce can go through it, unfortunately. That's just a small little tidbit. So if you love to absolutely turtle against everything, you're better off with this Zweihander. But if you don't mind the less amount of turtle power for some extra damage, then of course you can make the change if you want. Pretty much one of the big reasons to swap to this weapon is the higher damage and the charge heavy paired with Flashing Fang. This thing is a pretty damn good sword, and I guess if you're interested in 2-handed builds, I do recommend going for it. But of course, if you're just starting with it, I would just try to get the Zweihander for now. But when you do get this sword, hopefully it's worth it, and you find it worth it. That, or you just looked at it and like, wow, this is really freaking shiny. Now, when it comes to the question, is it the best greatsword in the game? Well, 2-handed sword. I guess that's more or less up for preference, really. Although, in terms of damage, yes, I would say it is. But of course, that depends if you like its moveset, if you like its heavy attack, if you like its defensive properties. Again, it's all up to preference. Personally, for me, my favorite two-handed sword is either the Onibane or the Zweihander. I am a simple person, you know? But of course, if you want the extra damage and the really cool charge heavy, you can use this two-handed sword as well. So, in terms of damage, I would say yeah, it's probably the best two-handed sword. But of course, it's entirely up to preference. So, you can use really whatever you like. But if you're a fan of large amounts of damage and a big giant golden sword, then well, the weapon might just be for you. Well, that should just about wrap up today's video. Thanks for stopping by and watching. I do appreciate it, and hopefully you enjoyed your time here. Of course, I'm going to be doing more of these, and don't you worry. I always try to keep myself on this game and actually making more videos for it, because, you know, it's something I like to do. It may not be, you know, the biggest thing, it may not be even the coolest thing ever, but it's what I like doing, so I'm going to keep doing it. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed watching, and yeah, you can expect more of these coming out in the future, and hopefully you enjoyed today's hosting character. So yeah, my name is Sui, and I will catch you all in the next video. Peace.